All right. I can't even tell you, I've been reflecting on all the people that have helped lead, and you guys have absolutely positively killed it with leading power hours. So just wanted to give kudos to all of you. It was awesome. I have a couple things that I wrote down that I think I want to work on today. So let me go ahead and talk about those for a second. And then I do have a little clip of a video, and then Sarah's going to share a little bit. So the first thing I was doing is I was looking through just this month, who has joined just this month, and taking the time and going to their enroller and basically saying congrats on the new joins. So that way we're not waiting till the end of the month to do shout outs, but instead we're right here, right now, seeing who is in action, and then also take that as an opportunity to almost interview them. What is working for you? How did these people come to be? Did you make a post? Did you have an event? Find out how these people ended up signing up, how they learn about it, almost like you're studying their success to make that your own. So that's the first thing that I wrote down. The next thing that we're going to talk about, and I'll put all this in the chat, is looking to see, and maybe one of you guys know how to do this in a faster way than I know how to do it. This has to do with like using the computer efficiently. I want to know what kind of welcome packs are people joining with in my organization just in this month. And I want to understand kind of what is it that people are talking about that are bringing them to Plexus. Now, I only got halfway through looking because I'm individually going through and looking at each of their orders. I don't know a better way. And I noticed almost everyone was joining with the triplex and not a reset triplex, just the triplex. So the question is my organization not talking about the reset? Do they not understand how that could be a really big asset for them? So it's really giving me things to think about in terms of training, posting, having conversations. So I feel like awareness is a big part of that. And then finally, and I will put the link to this when we get to this part, but I found this website that has all of these things about people that want to lose weight in the spring, because you kind of get this idea. It's getting like today it's 77 where I am. So, people are starting to think about that. And it gave suggestions for how to really get basically started on this weight loss journey. And I thought, I already see like a dozen amazing post opportunities just in the content from this particular website. So we'll look at that as well. But I'm going to go ahead and start to tell you really quick about how this whole power hour started. And then I'm going to pass it to Sarah for her to be able to share a little bit as well. So I would say about 3 years ago, I was feeling like, so Alita is my level 1, and she was doing a 5-day-a-week power hour. And I thought, good gracious Lord Almighty, 5 days a week. You never miss it. 5 days a week. And I really loved that. I thought that was really special. And of course, I'm not going to invite all of my outside leg to her power hour, right? That would be like a lot. But I also thought, wouldn't that be great for me to feel like I was dialed in and I had a commitment, and it would allow me to be accountable to myself. So I started the Wednesday power hour. That's before my homeschool group moved to Thursday or Wednesdays. So I had to move it Thursdays. And it has been so special. And I remember at convention last year, getting up and talking about ways to get started and connected in your business. And it felt really good to talk about this power hour. And I remember hearing a couple of like, woo, from the audience, because it was like, yes, like we have all been working for 3 years together and really sharing in success and also sharing in hard times as well. So I wanted to share that with you because Sarah and I have an idea about the Thursday power hour. So do you care if I pass it to you?
Yep, let's do it. So, Jennifer, correct me if I'm wrong, but we just really feel like Mondays is a great time for all of us to come together with motivation and inspiration and training. And we do want to bring in like some more leaders who are killing it and guest speakers and stuff like that. But just feeling like Mondays is our big day where we're all coming together, and sometimes we have almost 100 on. And then with Thursdays kind of dwindling with schedules, we really want to do a once a week power hour where it's like motivation, inspiration, what's the plan? And then really help empowering you guys that Thursday will break off for winning the day. You have the worksheet, you have the tools, we have hundreds of recordings, that can be templates, but just kind of letting you guys now knowing that for the last 3 years, you've been given this template and what's working. a lot of you guys on here are senior golds, rubies, senior rubies, knowing that now that next step might be you taking your runners and doing your own, let's do a winning the day where we can be more specific. So just Jennifer and I have been talking about, a little bit of refining for Mondays, where we're just like the whole hour, here you go, ready, set, go, to get the week going. And then taking a step back with this official one, because we feel like now 3 years in, there's so many more people that can branch off. Just like you said, Alita's doing her own just with her team and having such great results with that. So Jennifer, does that kind of sound like on the same page with what you think?
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking about like how Shauna led, and then Karen and Christina. There is just no reason not to empower. I literally sat in awe. I'm like, I should be putting them in charge of everything. They're amazing. So I feel like it might be just the right time, because Thursdays will have, I don't know, 25 people on, which is amazing. It's great. But also in terms of you making the best use of time, what if you guys were out leading your own power hours on Thursdays and using some of the ideas, even if you ended up taking what we do on Monday and using that to become the leader for your team? So I think this can be really good for everybody. And then we can just go all out on Mondays and really make it the best start of the week that we possibly can, sharing good ideas. And one of the things I will say about doing this power hour, it has been probably the most precious 3 years of my business, is being able to be a part of this, and seeing you guys win is so encouraging. But did you want to read something that you had about that? Okay, go for it.
Okay. And I was joking with my team yesterday. I'm like, you guys are probably like, this book is like ad nauseum now, because it's like, I don't know, like I just can chew on pieces. It's working better for me that I pull out a paragraph here and a paragraph there. And I've read this 7 Habits for the Slight Edge before, but I want this to be a reminder, because I really feel like as moving forward for some of these Mondays, I want to get some guest speakers who really focus on kind of each of these, because number one is to just show up. And that's what you guys are doing. Like, you guys are showing up consistently. And that's the second one: show up consistently. Show up when others fade out. Show up when nobody's asking you to. Show up because you have the calendar set and the alarm set, right? Because you guys are showing up and you're showing up consistently. I think a lot of people could probably agree that by showing up here consistently for 3 years, you have seen the needle move in your business. The third thing is to cultivate a positive outlook. And we've all proven that when you show up with positive people who are all on the same page with winning together, you can accomplish so many amazing things. So having a positive outlook is super, super helpful. Being committed for the long haul. This business has ups and downs, right? It is a roller coaster, and helping to have that long-term vision for what's possible and seeing so many people winning and showing what's possible. I still remember when Lisa shared, I don't even remember what that month was, where she had like, I don't know, 20, 22, 25 people. And I'm like, Lisa, you just proved that I'm thinking too small, right? You just blew the top off of what anybody would say, oh gosh, should be a goal of mine. But having that long-term vision for what can work, cultivating a burning desire backed by faith. And I really feel like this one goes hand in hand with that previous one. Is we're not just hoping or wishing. 68. See, there you go. See, I even said 25. I mean, that's just mind blowing. Not just wishing or hoping for things to happen, but believing without a shadow of a doubt that we are here, that we have what people have we offer things that people need, is super, super important. Number 6 is be willing to pay the price, which all of you have proven that you're rearranging schedules, you're working on time management, you are showing up doing the things to make things happen. And then the last one is practice slight edge integrity. And this is where it gets hard. Doing the things that you've committed to do, even when no one else is watching. And that's one of those things, guys, when you see somebody showing up on a leaderboard, it's not because they had overnight success. When you see somebody showing up on a leaderboard or somebody ranking up and hitting Ruby, Senior Ruby, Emerald, it's because behind the scenes, they are doing the winning the day, right? 5 days a week, whether we're showing up on here or not. They are staying with the healthy habits that are keeping them on track with, weight loss or whatever the case might be. So this practicing the slight edge day in and day out, even when it's hard, even when you don't have an upline checking on you, even when we're not punching time clocks, right? We know that we have to do the work and showing up consistently. And each and every one of you have done that. And I feel like this has been such an empowering thing to know that, okay, we've kind of got this, I'm going to show up on Thursday and then everybody's going to see my face. And even for me, it's like, you want that little tap on the back. But stepping into leadership, knowing that now other people might be waiting for you or counting on you, I think that's going to be a really, really good thing to kind of pass the baton. But we're just, so you guys know, like, we're not going anywhere. Like Mondays is going to be our get on, have some church, get some inspiration, have some motivation, get some tips for whatever the incentive is for that month. And then, the shout outs for what's working, right? And that's what we're here to do. But we really feel like kind of refining that to a really strong Monday morning, 1 hour power hour. We're going to get in, get focused. And then the rest of the week, it's on you to show up consistently, to show up with a positive attitude, to show up being willing to pay the price and to show up even when no one else is going to check on you. But we want you guys to check on your sidelines, your uplines, your downlines, your new team members, your prospects, and really kind of pass this along for maybe you've got 3 new baby VIPs and they all want to get their products paid for. How amazing would that be if you just jumped on with 4 people and really gave them key targeted, this is what your first post is going to be. Here's how we're going to follow up in the comments. Here's how we're going to do a 3-way chat, right? Those basic systems of now you jumping off and helping to empower team members to share and do this work and activity. Because like I said before, I didn't know how to be a labor and delivery nurse when I was an ICU nurse, right? I had to learn all of that new stuff. When you have a VIP who jumps in and says they want this, they don't know how the hows, right? The how-tos. And we want you guys to remember that the next part of moving people to the next step and duplication, which are 2 key areas on winning the day, is now you taking what you've learned here and really starting to teach and train that down with your teams. Is that helpful, Jennifer?
So helpful. And I love reading the chat about people that it's almost like they maybe even knew it was time to start doing something themselves on Thursdays. And here's what I also want. Once you guys find out good information, bring it back, put it in the chat. Anything y'all hear or see like that's working, I want to know. Do you guys remember when I don't know who it was, but they started the whole, you send 1 stick of Slim to someone, invite them to this online party. We would have like 100 people on, everyone trying the 1 stick of Slim together. That was one of the most fun ideas. So if you hear good ideas, like bring them back home, like bring them all into the chat. So let's go ahead really quick. And I'm going to drop this link. And this is literally just one of thousands of things you can look up. But what I think is special is when I get on social media, sometimes I think to myself, I either need to find a post that someone else did and kind of tweak it for my own, or I just need to go back and tell my story again. Like you're always like kind of revisiting these same ideas. Well, what if you're doing something a little different? So I was looking at this particular, it's so simple, okay? But this particular site just had these really good ideas. Now listen to this. It says that if you leave a bowl of fruit on your counter, people that leave fruit out weigh 13 pounds less than other people. And then it said, this is the part where I cracked up. Those who leave cereal on their counter weigh an average of 20 pounds more than people who leave it in their cupboard. Cupboard? I don't even say cupboard. I just read that. Cabinet. Tell me that would not be a hilarious post to say, just so you know, I can help you lose 20 pounds just by putting cereal in the cabinet. These are interesting posts that make people want to follow you more. And they're like, follow me for more weight loss tips. This is interesting. So just go and find things that I would literally just jot down everything that you think is interesting. And you will have over a dozen, if not more, really cool Facebook, Instagram post ideas. So let's spend a little bit of time doing that before we move on to the next thing. And Sarah, thank you for saying things like how you say them and all the awesomeness of your brain and your mouth. I love you.
Okay, I just have to giggle and share this with you. Jennifer, this is such a good idea. Okay, according to Cosmopolitan, one of the reasons you lose weight in spring is because you naturally watch less TV because it's not pilot season for shows or award show season. Therefore, in warmer weather, you watch less TV, and are less likely to mindlessly shovel food into your mouth while you're watching your favorite shows. Okay,
Are you relating to this or something?
so I will say it's fascinating to me that if I go back for the last 5 years on MyFitnessPal, I am the heaviest in the winter and the lightest in the summer. And I think so much of that has to do with vitamin D and sunshine and getting outside, and then just the natural. They said, again, according to Cosmopolitan, the average Starbucks hot chocolate is 450 calories. Well, if you get a spring unsweet tea refresher that's only 60 calories, even like what you're consuming in the winter versus the spring and the summer is different. Oh, Australia is opposite. That is absolutely correct. But it was really, I was looking on MyFitnessPal, and my trend is literally this zigzag up and down of heaviest in the winter. And I think mood, the emotional eating component probably is a lot for me, but then the vitamin D and wanting to be outside and doing yard work and taking walks. I think it's a great conversation piece for engagement, for asking people, is this how you guys feel? And go from there for sure.
I was looking at a couple of things. I'll put this link, but it says, well, first of all, if you decide to do spring cleaning, you burn 166 calories every half hour you do spring cleaning. The other one I thought was hilarious. And listen, I hope you don't have kids around you, but it's interesting. Okay. It says women's libido is highest in the spring, and you burn 3.6 calories per minute doing that. So that's a weight loss plan that we could be promoting. And finally, my favorite thing is purposely walk around your house in a sundress, because seeing your own skin reminds you of your goals. And so you're not like, you'll eat whatever you want when you're wearing like a ski jacket, right? Like I'll eat a whole baguette. But if you're wearing a sundress, you're like, maybe not. Anyhow, this is just a fun thing to do to look for interesting posting topics.
These by 5078-21101.
Correct.
Okay, keep going with that, but go ahead and I would look at all your new VIP customers. And like I said, it is a little cumbersome, but you're basically clicking on each one of their welcome pack orders and making a note about what they've ordered, because this kind of gives you the culture of your team, what kind of people are being attracted to your organization. If everyone's ordering a Mix and Glow, okay, well, my team seems to be interested in collagen. Is this about aging? Is this about, what is this about? So you're really trying to understand, what is your team promoting and who are you bringing in? And then if you see a big missing gap, like I did, I noticed it wasn't really reset at all, then we need to rethink that. We need to really start focusing on it, because we know people getting that quick 3-day experience, having results, really will give them a good feeling about Plexus. So go and investigate, what are people ordering when they join with welcome packs? Okay, I'm just going to show you this really quick clip. It's just a section, but I don't know if you guys listen to Jordan Peterson, but he has a talk on leadership, a talk on responsibility, and they're all so good. But this one is like an hour talk, but I was just listening to this one section of it and I just thought it was really great. So anyways, all that to say, I just was going to listen to it. It's about maximizing the quality of your life. And I think if we're honest with ourselves, that's probably our core drive is we really want better for ourselves, our children, just our lives in general. So here we go.
You see, the thing about disciplining someone, let's say, is that
Sorry,
when you,
I
and I
have
see
it
this
on
very
2
clearly when I
times
talk to young
speed.
people, is that I'm really on the side of the person
Let me go back.
that,
Let's try one more time. Okay, here we go.
you see, the thing about disciplining someone, let's say, is that when you, and I see this very clearly when I'm talking to young people, is that I'm really on the side of the person that wants to do something positive with their life, to make their own life better, because I think that's where you should start. You should start by maximizing the quality of your own life. That's not a selfish thing, or if it is, it's the right kind of selfishness. And that you should figure out how to do that in a way that's of benefit to your friends and your family and your community. And you should take that deadly seriously. And the reason you should do that is because that just makes life better for everyone. And it reduces a fair bit of the misery that would otherwise be part and parcel of life, and it makes everything function smoothly. And one of the things I'm really curious about is what the world would be like if everybody decided to do that, because human beings are really remarkable creatures, and we hobble ourselves very badly with deception and resentment and revenge and the desire.
Oh, I
Slow fashionista,
Give it a second.
outfit repeater, sharing is caring.
I'm so into
Desire
it.
to make things worse, and arrogance, and all those sins, let's say, that make us deviate from our true path. And our true path should be something like, imagine the noblest aim that you can conceptualize and then sacrifice your life to attempting to attain it. And there's nothing in that that isn't good for everyone. And so apart from the fact that it requires a lot of responsibility, I just can't see why everyone wouldn't do that. And when I'm talking to young people and, shaking my finger and saying, grow the hell up and get mature and take on some responsibility, I'm not saying that because I'm an enemy of the person. I'm saying it because I'm the best friend of the part of them that would really like to walk in the light. And it's an invitation to walk in the light, and it would be remarkable. This is what we need to do, as far as I'm concerned, not only in the West, but in the world at large, but maybe in the West first, is we have to consciously decide that we're going to do everything we can as individuals to walk in the light, and to regard that as a noble and heroic endeavor, and to make that first and foremost in our lives. And that's what we should be educating young people to do. And they can do that. And so I have dozens of people writing to me and talking to me all the time who are saying the same thing. They're saying, look, I've really been trying to get my act together over the last 6 months. I've been trying not to lie, which is slightly different than trying to tell the truth, right? It's a more humble goal to not lie, because you can tell when you're lying, but you can't necessarily tell when you're telling the truth. And I've been coming up with a plan, and I've been trying to discipline myself, and I've been cleaning up my room, which is like a nice humble act that involves transforming chaos into order. And they write and say, God, things are just working out way better for me. It's like, whoa, do it, man. That's just, you keep that up for 15 years and you'll be unbeatable. And that's what we should be convincing young people to be, is to be unbeatable. And not because that's what they should do or because they're bad if they don't, but because there's nothing better you can possibly do with your limited and suffering bound life than to aim high and sacrifice yourself to the attainment of those goals. So, do you have problems in your life that you're not addressing that you could solve? And the answer is yes. And it's an easy thing to figure out. You sit on your bed one morning and say, okay, there's some things that need to be done that I don't want to do, that I could do, that would make things better by the end of the day. What are they? Well, your conscience will deliver those suckers in no time flat, man. And then you might have to say, okay, well, how do I entice myself into doing a few of those? And if you ask, instead of trying to force yourself to do it like you're a tyrant and a slave at the same time, you can usually negotiate with yourself so that you'll start to sort those things out. Sort them out, put your house in order, and then move on, and out. Yes, that's a Freudian slip, by the way. Yeah, so it's important because the thing is, you have a practice domain, right? There are things that are within your grasp that you could fix them, and you'll learn because it's harder than it looks. Fix them and you'll learn how to fix things, and then something else will beckon as another problem that you could fix. You all have your problems. What does that mean? Like, there's an infinite number of problems in the world. Some of them happen to be yours. Why is that? I don't know exactly, but you have your problems. Great, solve them. One of the things I learned as a therapist, every therapist has to learn this, is because one of the things you wonder when you're first starting to be a clinician is, how do you not take the catastrophes of your clients home with you? And the answer to that is because it's immoral to. They're not your problems. They're their problems. Like they're their life. You know, your problems are your life. You don't want to solve someone else's problems for them because you take away the deep meaning that's to be found in having them work through the problems on their own. And then you steal the credit. Well, I can help you with that. It's like, well, yeah, maybe, but I don't help you with the next problem then. So in any case, you sort out the problems that are right in front of you, and it will make you grow very, very rapidly. And then you'll be able to sort out more complex problems without making them worse.
And that particular part, I know you guys are working, but I want to share this. One of the worst parts of being a leader, and what literally created so much anxiety for me and made me want to actually not do this at all, is what he just described. I took on my downline's problems. Maybe they're stressed with something or their inability to grow in an area. I took it on as my own personal problem. And it's exactly what he said. Instead of empowering them to have that experience, just like we've all had, haven't you guys had an aha moment, and then you learn to work through it? And then I'll finally say this, it should be such an encouragement that things are within our control. And so when we focus on those things, there's a resolution for every problem we face, whether it's low recruitment or bad retention, whatever that is. There are things that are within our control that we are able to take the steps, and it doesn't have to be something dramatic or Oscar worthy. It can just be the small steps of just what he said. You're sitting on your bed and you say, well, what could I do today that lets me aim high and do better? And I appreciate that that is something, it's not crushing. It doesn't feel overwhelming. So that's what we're doing here on this Power Hour. And if you ever want to listen to Jordan Peterson, you will never regret it. He talks about every single topic. You might get your feathers ruffled a little bit, but man, it sure is a good feeling. So let's go ahead and finish out the rest of the Power Hour with everything that we talked about today. If you didn't finish, or if you need to follow up on messages, whatever it is you need to do. And I will put that link here in the chat. All right, let's wrap it up. I'm really excited. So Sarah and I are going to work on getting really great speakers too. If you guys have any suggestions for people that you'd like to hear from, I know who I want to hear from. I want to hear from Janelle and Christine Brown. For many reasons, not just Plexus. But yeah, that's who I want. But let us know, put it in the Power Hour chat, and we will see you guys next Monday and start our week off strong. Thanks again for everybody being on, and thank you, Sarah. I will see you guys soon.